Hello class 12, welcome to my YouTube channel where learning meets curiosity. In this video we are going to discuss most important question and answer of class 12 English, the last lesson chapter. So the first question is, what was the mood in the classroom when MML gave his last French lesson? So as we all know, the mood in the classroom was solemn and somber. You must have to write this two words in your answer. These are literally very important. When he announced that this was their last French lesson, everyone present in the classroom suddenly developed the patriotic feeling for their native language, genuinely, genuinely regretting for ignoring their mother tongue. Next question. What was what had the narrator counted? What had the narrator counted on to enter the school unnoticed? जो हमारा नरेटर था फ्रांस, वो किस चीज़ पे रिलाई करता था? काउंटेड मीन्स रिलाई, तो वो किस चीज़ पे रिलाई करता था अननोटिसली क्लासरूम में एंटर करने के लिए? The France narrator had counted on the hustle and bustle that was usual when the school began in order to enter there unnoticed. He thought he would depend on commotion to get to his desk without anybody noticing he was late for class. Next question. This is your last French lesson. How did France react to this declaration of M. Hamel? When M. Hamel declared it was their last French lesson, grim realization was drawn on the France that he had so much more yet to learn. अभी तक उसे लिखना पढ़ना कुछ नहीं आता था. So he feel very regret. He feels sorry. He feels sorry for whiling away his time and skipping his lesson. Now he did not even want to part with this book. अब वो अपने बुक से बिछड़ना नहीं चाहता था, विच ही हैड अर्लियर कंसिडर एज ए नोआइसेंस. मीन्स जो बुक उसे पहले अनोइंग लगती थी, वो बुक से अभी वो बिछड़ना नहीं चाहता था. दिस वॉज ऑल्सो डीपली पेंटेड एट द थॉट दैट एम हेमल वॉज लिविंग. और उसे इस चीज़ से भी बहुत बुरा लग रहा था कि एम हेमल जिन्होंने 40 ईयर्स की सर्विस उसे दी है, उनके विलेज को दी है, वो अभी ये विलेज छोड़ के जाने वाले हैं. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. द चेंज कम ओवर लिटिल फ्रांस आफ्टर हर्ड एम हेमल्स अनाउंसमेंट. क्या चेंजेस हुआ था लिटिल फ्रांस के ऊपर जब एम हेमल ने अनाउंस किया था? सो आंसर इज द एम हेमल अनाउंस दैट this was to be their last French class. Grim realization drawn on the France that he could hardly write his language and know he was being deprived to the opportunity of learning it. He feel very guilty for neglecting their class and escaping from school. So जब उसे पता चला कि ये उसका लास्ट लेसन है, तो वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा ऐसा फील कर रहा था कि उससे कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी छीनी जा रही है जिसे वो अर्लियर टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड लेता था. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. व्हाट वाज टेम्पटिंग फ्रांस टू कीप away from school that morning? So as we all know, chirping of birds and everything. Let's discuss. France was very late for school that morning. MML was to question the student on participle. France knew nothing and fear of scolding. So France knew nothing and fear of scolding. The bright weather, wooden field, chirping of birds tempted him to spend the day out. तो फर्स्टली तो उसने अपना होमवर्क नहीं किया था पार्टिसिपल के ऊपर, और सेकंड ब्राइट वेदर, वुडन फील्ड्स, चिर्पिंग ऑफ बर्ड्स, ये सब उसे टेम्पटेड कर रहे थे टू स्पेंड द डे आउट rather than to go and study in the classroom. Next question. What was unusual about M. Humble dress and behavior on the day of their last French lesson? So the solution is, on the day of his last French lesson, M. Hamel was unexpectedly kind. सो जो एम हेमल का जो क्रैंकी नेचर था लास्ट लेसन के दिन, उनका वो बहुत ज़्यादा काइंड बिहेवियर हो गया था टुवर्ड फ्रांस एंड all the student in the class. He had put on his beautiful green coat. You have to learn these three things: beautiful green coat, frilled shirt, and embroidered black silk cap, which he normally wore on inspection days and प्राइस डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन डेज. तो जब कोई स्पेशल दिन होता था तभी वो सब ड्रेस वोर करता था, लेकिन इस दिन वो इसके ब्लैक कोट, वॉट फ्रिल्ड शर्ट, ग्रीन कोट, ब्लैक एम्ब्रॉयडर्ड कैप वोर किया था, तो सबको बहुत ज़्यादा हैरानी हो रही थी. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Why had bulletin board become a certain center of attention during the last 2 years? सो हमको पता है कि 2 साल से उधर उससे ही सारी बुरी खबर आ रही थी, जस्ट लाइक lose news from lost battles, draft, and order from commanding officers. So we have to write the bulletin board had become the center of attention because from the last 2 years all the bad news has come from there. It was the source of bad news. For example, lose battles, draft, and order from commanding officer. Next question. What was France expected? What was France expected to be prepared with the school? सो हमको पता है द रूल ऑफ पार्टिसिपल ग्रामर का उससे एक्सपेक्ट किया जाता था कि वो याद करके आएगा, बट ही वॉज नॉट. France has started very late for school that morning. He feared facing his class teacher M. Hamel because he was expected to prepare with his grammar lesson on participle and he did not know even a single words of them. Next question. What had been put on the bulletin board? So हम सबको पता है the notice had been come from Berlin, informing the people about notice has been put on the bulletin board informing the people about the order which has come from Berlin. In the school of Alsace and Lorraine only the language German will be taught. So एक बार फिर से देखते हैं क्वेश्चन. A notice has been put on the bulletin board informing the people about the order had come from Berlin that only German to be taught in the school of Alsace and Lorraine. आपको ये दो नाम जस्ट जर्मन लिखोगे तो नहीं चलेगा, आपको अल्सास एंड लॉरेन मेंशन करना मस्ट है. इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू मेंशन दिस टू स्टेट नेम. They had also been informed that the new German teacher was coming on the following days. इसकी वजह से उन्हें कि जो एम हेमल टीचर थे उन्हें वो सिटी लीव करनी थी. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Who did M. Hamel blame for neglecting of learning part of boys like France? ठीक है. तो एम हेमल ने किस किस को ब्लेम किया था for not learning their lesson? The M. Hamel blame various people for different reason for neglecting of learning a part of boys like France. First he blamed the parents. पहले वो पेरेंट्स को ब्लेम किए जो एंशियस नहीं है कि उनके चिल्ड्रन को लर्न करना चाहिए. ठीक है. First, he blamed parents for not being anxious to have their children learn rather than engage in housework. Second, he blamed boys themselves to prefer to work in mills and farms. He also blamed himself for sending boys on errand for his convenience. तो ये थोड़ी टाइपिंग मिस्टेक है, यहाँ पे आपको लिखना है कि he blamed himself just because he used to conduct holiday whenever he want to go for fishing. He declared the day holiday whenever he wants to go for fishing. Now the last question. What did M. Hamel tell the people in the class about French language and what did he ask them to do? जो एम एम एल टीचर थे वो लास्ट डे के दिन फ्रेंच लैंग्वेज के बारे में क्या बताते हैं और ये स्टूडेंट्स और सारे लोगों को क्या करने के लिए कहते हैं. एम एम एल टोल्ड द पीपल इन द क्लास that French is the most beautiful, most clear, and most logical language in the world. He advised them to guide it among themselves and never to forget it because when the people are enslaved, the mother tongue is only a key to their prison. So, Thank you. That's it for the day. Do like, subscribe, and please give your feedback.